Hello, everyone, and welcome to this live recording here on the Rachel Varga podcast. We're on the Rachel Varga Facebook page and the YouTube channel, so you can catch the video of this. You can listen to the audio on the go. There's many ways for you to, tune in to what we are doing today. So I want to check in, see how you guys are all doing. Just a reminder, you can leave your live questions in the comment section, and we're going to be answering questions. Basically, we're going to be focusing on traditional Chinese medicine, ancient healing modalities, and all sorts of fun things. So I see a number of people hopping on, and that's wonderful. I want to hear from you. Leave us your questions. So we have a very special guest joining us today. We have Dr. Shiroko Sokitch. She's a doctor who cares about you, the owner of Heart to Heart Medical Center in Santa Rosa, California. Love California, since 1993. Dr. Shiroko is an expert at using many modalities to bring your body to balance and wholeness. Her specialty is healing when it seems impossible. She brings hope and healing to difficult health conditions by blending Chinese and Western medical. Dr. Sokitch is a trained medical physician who has blended in, ancient knowledge of traditional Chinese medicine, which is fantastic. So she brings in a deep spiritual and emotional healing approach. She's trained in general surgery and working as an emergency room doctor. So what an incredible background to bring healing to your patients. Welcome. How are you today, Dr. Shiroko?
I'm excellent. Nice to see you. Thank you for having me. Yeah.
I am so proud of Western trained physicians that have taken your approach. And I've mentioned this a number of times. My hat goes off to physicians like you that are willing to kind of go outside of the norm a little bit in order to bring just really, incredible holistic healing modalities to your patient care. Welcome. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, what do you want to know? I've been a physician for over 30 years, and I've been practicing both Chinese and Western medicine for most of that time. And, it all started when I was 5 years old. My great-grandmother was my very best friend. And when one day she collapsed in front of me, and a few days later she died. And after my mom told me that she died, I was 5, so I didn't know what that meant. So she said her heart had stopped beating. And I remember in that moment, I, of course, was devastated because she was my favorite person, but also I had this hope, this idea that something could happen that would save her or bring her back. And I imagined actually a machine that would make her heart start beating again. And that's been my drive ever since then. I have basically committed my life to creating miracles and making people feel healthy.
That is absolutely fantastic. And I have yet to come across another physician in my quest for, bringing the, top health icons and healers to you guys here on the podcast. So I'm so excited to ask you a number of questions here, and we're going to be taking live questions. So please be sure to tune in, leave your questions in the live comment section. So in this episode, we are going to learn about aging impossibly well, which obviously you guys know I'm all about as a board certified aesthetic nurse specialist. If you're new to the show here, I love helping people navigate aging impossibly well on the inside and out. But today we're going to focus a little bit more on using ancient healing modalities such as acupuncture, traditional Chinese medicine, Gua Sha for the face and the body for things like anti-aging, cellulite, but also just for healing. This is something that I do actually all the time myself as well. So I'm going to show you a couple of my favorite tools that are in alignment with TCM. And this is kind of rad. We're going to be talking about tuning into our life force. And there's some really cool points on the body that allow you to kind of like move your energy around, trigger points. So we're going to be diving all into that. I love to ask everyone that joins us here on the show, what is radiance to you? Did you see that? Something I think is a little butterfly outside that flew by when I asked you this. So
wow, so cool.
What is radiance to you?
Well, radiance to me is fully embodying your life. So fully feeling alive, healthy, able to do the things that you love to do and feeling good doing them, you know? So it's not just feeling good in your body, but that the whole of your existence.
So what are the common threads and practices that you see your most vibrant clients doing that you're seeing in your practice?
Well, my most vibrant clients are people who eat healthy foods, exercise consistently, and take good care of their bodies, you know, and of course they're my clients, so they're having acupuncture. And I believe that Chinese medicine it is based on the idea of energy, and we are made up of energy, and energy travels through our bodies in certain patterns. And so really being vibrant and radiant and alive is about having that energy flowing through your body consistently and in a balanced way.
And if you're kind of a skeptic, you're like, what is this energy business? Okay, I'm going to break it down for you. So every single part of us is composed of, molecules, and atoms create those molecules. Well, what's that stuff in between the atoms, right? Higgs boson particle theory, we understand that there is a field in there. Can you expand on that from a traditional Chinese medical perspective? This stuff gets me super excited. I'm such a nerd, but I'd love to hear the BScN take on that.
Well, the whole idea is that you're made up of energy, and energy travels through your body in certain patterns. And it's all based on the first thing to know about is yin and yang. And so we've all seen that symbol that of the curved lines and the circles in the middle. And so the whole idea is that there's a masculine and a feminine energy within us. And it's more than that. It's masculine, daylight, sunshine, bright, strong, daytime energy, or yin energy, which is cool, moist, feminine, nighttime, moonlight energy. And those two are always in opposition, and they're always dancing with one another. And it's kind of like, I believe it to be like the most potent love affair, like the and our bodies are made up of these movements of energy. And there's kind of always an opposition, but there's always a flow. And disease happens when the flow is not happening, or when they are not in balance with each other, so that they're not able to have their dance with one another. And then every organ has those elements, the yin and the yang, and every organ has functions that are different than we know them to be in Western medicine. So, for example, the liver regulates the smooth flow of energy in your whole body. It also regulates your menstrual cycles, and it also deals with stress, which is slightly different than what we know it to do in the West. But it also does, I bring the two together, the Chinese and the Western. It also does the detox and handles the nutrients that come in from our digestive tract.
So for you, with your background with TCM, alongside your training as a traditional trained medical doctor, when you look at someone, how has your assessment changed? Because I can look at somebody and tell pretty quick they're a smoker, but then you can take it to another level and identify other things with their pallor, if they have like a green hue or a yellow hue. Tell us a little bit about what you can identify about someone through their skin.
Oh, so many things. So good point. Every organ has a color, a time of day, a time of year. It has an element. So for example, your digestive system, which is called the spleen in Chinese medicine, is yellow, and it's connected to the emotion of worry. And it's also prevalent at 9 a.m. So, and so if your skin is somewhat yellow, then you might have digestive disturbances. If the liver is connected with a color green, so if your skin has sort of a green tinge, then you might have liver imbalance. And when you have an imbalance from the perspective of Chinese medicine, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have a disease from the perspective of Western medicine. Because in Chinese medicine, the energy shifts so much long before you start having a disease, which is another reason that it's a great way to use as a preventive and to help you have healthy aging, is because You have symptoms way before you become sick. You have clues that your body's not happy long before you have any kind of illness.
Mm-hmm. And it really just comes down to a matter of you actually just being in tune with your body and noticing when things are, a little off. I actually do see a traditional Chinese medical doctor. I get my acupuncture done, I get cupping done. So I'm just going to take a second to show you guys my recent cup marks here. And so I don't know if it's easy for you to see, but yeah, I'm a huge fan. I love cupping. I love acupuncture. I love Gua Sha. So we're going to be sharing with you guys some cool things. But I do want to ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
What can our pulse tell us?
So feeling the pulse in Chinese medicine is one of the main diagnostic techniques. And I feel the pulse on both wrists, right at the wrist crease, near the thumb. And there's 3 fingers. I don't know if my fingers are, yes. So here, 3 fingers. And on both sides. And it tells me about 12 organs. And it tells me how the energy is moving in those organs. I've been doing this, like I said, for 30 years, and I feel like it's a lifetime study to understand how the pulses work. And it tells how the organs are functioning. It's not just how fast it is, but how the flow of energy in the pulse is. And you can tell if there's too much moisture in the body. You can tell if the body's weak or if a particular organ is weak. And in fact, I use that information, plus I do an exam on the abdomen to feel where things are out of balance. And then I use that Chinese information to guide my Western testing and diagnosis that I use. So,
yeah, I just think that is fantastic. So I just sent you a question there. I do have a question for you around how we can optimize our whole health. And I know you have a book on this, so I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about that and just kind of like some really easy takeaway tips how to help us learn how we can optimize our whole health today.
So my book is called Healing When It Seems Impossible: 7 Keys to Defy the Odds. And my specialty, of course, is helping people who have difficult health issues. But my favorite is to actually help people stay healthy and to optimize their health. And the first key is love. And so what I suggest is really just focusing on love as much as you possibly can, every day, all the time, in every way that you can. And if you bring love is the most healing power of the universe. It is the most healing energy of the universe. And so, and I always like to explain that our cells are really like the things that hold us together are what we call energy is love, really. So our cells are constantly communicating with each other. Our bodies are constantly communicating with other parts of each other. I don't know if you've ever had energy work, but people...
Are you kidding me?
I know you have.
Definitely. The last 10 years, absolutely. This is something that I personally bring into my self-care practice.
But one of the things that's so fascinating is I remember in medical school and in my surgical residency training, the doctors would say, well, if your neck hurts, it's not connected to your low back pain, or it's not connected to why your knee hurts. But if you have energy work, somebody will be working on your neck, and maybe you'll feel it in your knee, or you'll feel it in your feet. And that's how deeply connected everything in our body is. So that's why I call it whole health, because it's not just one part of you. If your hand hurts, it's affecting another part of your body. And that's another thing about Chinese medicine, is that the meridians, the pathways that energy travels, is throughout your body. And then everything connects with each other, and this has all been, Chinese medicine has been around for 5,000 years. This has all been proven thousands and millions and millions and millions of times that it works, that it helps people, that it helps animals, and that this connection is true.
What about how, this might seem a little broad,
Mhm.
But how can we function in a way to help our surroundings?
To help our surroundings?
Hmm.
That's a good question. I like that.
It's very broad. Maybe you know where I'm going with that.
You know, so the energy that's within us comes out of us, right? So when we are balanced, then we have a desire for our environment to also be balanced. And so if we have within us a balance, and then we create balance within our environment. So let's just say it starts with your bedroom and you start to work with your bedroom. That's the whole art of feng shui, is the art of achieving balance in your physical space. And that it's similar to creating balance within yourself, because it has to do with the elements of the earth, earth, water, wind, fire, things like that. And all of those elements have to work with one another in order for us to achieve balance. So, and then if you extend that out into, like, so many people recently with all of this COVID have started gardening in my community, in my group of friends. And, I am so lucky. I recently moved to a place where I could have a garden, which is wonderful, because before I couldn't have a garden for a number of years. So gardening and planting food and all of those things help improve our environment.
Hmm. I love to ask high functioning individuals, much like yourself.
Mhm.
You're a clinician, you're a healer that's really combining all sorts of very cool modalities. What are some of your rituals? How do you stay balanced? What are some of your AM and PM routines?
Well, every morning I wake up, well, actually, before I go to sleep and right when I wake up, I always have my prayers and my gratitude.
What is that like? Walk us through what those prayers of gratitude are like for you.
I always say, "Dear Lord, thank you so much for the life that I have, for all the good things, and then the particular blessings. And then I bless the people that I love. And then I always have a few patients that I'm worried about. So I think about them and send them love and healing, and really practice the gratitude. It's so important for me to feel good. And I've had times in my life where I didn't feel good emotionally. We all have. And I've had some difficult times in my life. And during those times, it's been really hard to be grateful. But what I've noticed is that what brought me out of those times is to bring more love into my own life and to be more grateful for the life that I have. And to be, especially in these times that have been somewhat difficult for so many people, that there's so much to be grateful for. And then I have a mat. I have a mat that is called a PEMF mat, which is a magnetic mat. I lay on that. That's how I do my meditation and my prayer. I just lay on that for some length of time. And then I get up and I have a green drink that I make with, all kinds of greens, Mighty Maca, and a synergy green drink that has all kinds of greens and fiber. And that's my morning drink. And then I do my exercise. I do either yoga or cardio. And recently I found some YouTube videos that have dancing, which is really fun for me. And
Got to move that chi around, right?
What's that?
You got to move that chi.
Yeah, you got to move that chi. I have to exercise. So it helps me release energy and it helps me be energetic. And then usually I go to work. So during the weekdays I go to work and I see patients still. So that's what I do. And then when I come home in the evening, I make dinner, and I have been painting. Those pictures behind me are pictures that I've painted.
I love it.
So I'll either paint or watch some kind of television show or do some work. And then just before I go to sleep, I do the same thing. I say my prayers and have my gratitude.
That's fantastic. Just a very random question. How do you stay clear? How do you keep your body, mind, spirit, energy field, whatever you want to call it, clear and reduce things from the opportunity for things to kind of like congest, if you will?
Well, exercise. the healthiest people of the years that I've been in practice, the healthiest people that I see are people who regularly exercise. More important even than diet in terms of what I have seen in my practice. And of course, healthy diet is important, but exercise is vitally important. Keeping your body moving, we are designed to move. I have energy worker that I see for myself. I have several acupuncturists that are in my life. I have a chiropractor. So every week I get some kind of treatment, either a chiropractic or energy session or acupuncture session. Sometimes I'll have 2 treatments in a week. And that's about it.
Yeah, I think that's great. Yep. I had my chiropractic adjustment this morning. I had my massage. The other day I had my cupping, my acupuncture, my fire cupping, acupuncture, and Gua Sha. So I just briefly want to talk about Gua Sha because this is something that's really helped me. I'll be totally honest with you guys. I used to poo-poo it. You know, I'd see these jade rollers on the face. I'm like, that's such a gimmick. It's a gimmick when people try and employ these types of things at home and they spend like, $80 on some pretty tool that looks good on Instagram. And it's, not necessarily going to get rid of their jowls, get rid of puffy lower eye bags, but there is a use for Gua Sha. So tell us the science of Gua Sha for both the face and the body.
Well, honestly, I don't know much about Gua Sha for the face, so I can't really tell you. But I do know a lot about Gua Sha for the body. And basically everything's about energy again and congestion of energy. So when energy's not flowing smoothly, it gets congested and then you get puffy or you get stuck, you get pain. So how I was trained to use it was for areas of pain or actually infection.
I'll show you guys how I do it.
Okay.
Scrape. And the more like grittiness you feel, the more you need to do it.
Yeah.
Use a little oil so you're not just scraping on skin, but it's very hot here and I have a nice little dewy sweat happening. It's amazing.
Yeah, and what it does, so what's cool about it is that if you don't have congestion or stuck energy in that spot, you won't see anything. It'll just get a little bit pink, but it won't produce any discoloration. But if you have energy stuck in that spot, so like let's say, so one of the things that it's really good for is like, let's say you had a sore throat or you had bronchitis or something like that. There are points on the back right behind the heart where if you did Gua Sha, it would turn purple. And that would be releasing the heat, the stuck energy from your lungs and releasing it to the surface. And that helps you heal faster.
Yeah, sometimes I'll do my whole body. I'll be in the bath. I got some, bath oil in there. I'll do my arms, my legs, my abdomen. And it's funny. I did my tummy for the first time. And then I went to bed and then I looked in the mirror. I'm like, oh, I look shredded because I had that lymphatic drainage, but it's also a fabulous thing for cellulite.
Yeah. Because cellulite is basically stuck energy. It's energy that's not flowing smoothly, right, through your thighs or wherever it is.
Yep.
And so
because of the fascia layers are kind of like, they're sort of stuck and then you get sort of like fat is sort of globular in nature. So if your fascia isn't nice and smooth and healthy, you're going to get those sort of like lobules, if you will, which gives that irregular texture. I mean, get something like this, just scrape your skin with some oil on it.
I use a Chinese soup spoon.
Yes. Yeah.
I've actually, you don't have to buy an instrument. I have actually used a jar lid to help people because I think I lost my soup spoon or something. So I would just get out a jar lid and use it on someone if I didn't have my soup spoon.
Yeah, I love it. So basically it's just kind of like slightly rounded. So, I mean, I drink out of a jar all the time. Look how much I've gone through this in like the last hour. I think it's a fantastic free technique. When I do it on my full body, I have less pain. I am using it for an injury. And it just, you feel good, makes your skin look better. It makes you look a little bit more defined on your thighs and abdomen. Like, I kid you not, I couldn't believe the difference once I did that lymphatic drainage on my abdomen.
And you want to go with the lines of the tissue. So if you are going to do something like that, so like you want to, if you were going to do it here, you would go along the lines of the meridians. So you go down, you'd go down like this.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to go to your heart to facilitate lymphatic drainage? Or I go back and forth.
Well, so the yin meridians, which are on the inner surface of your arm, are coming from your heart out. And then the yang meridians are coming from your fingers in. So you'd go up the yang meridians towards your heart, but from the yin, you'd go along this way, which would be the flow of energy. So you want to go along with the flow of energy. And because they're all connected. So when you're going down this way, then you could also come back up this way, and then you'd have a full pathway.
Yeah, I think it's great because the more we can move our stagnant lymph fluid around, it's actually really good for our immune system to bring in more microcirculation into the tissues. So it helps with healing. So I just think that is fantastic. So I have a question for you. How can we navigate around aging and instead living more vibrantly? Like to not be afraid of that word aging, but really just focus our energy towards living more vibrantly.
Again, you want to fill your life up with love. You want to start that way. You get younger and younger as you grow older by having a purpose for yourself. Like what do you believe in? What is important to you? And I think as we age, we have more clarity about that. What's most important to us? What do we care about? Who is important to us? What do we want to do with our lives? And the more you put your energy into the things that make you feel good, the more vibrant you will be, and aging doesn't happen. I have a patient who is 80 and she looks 50. And she just is vibrant and alive and busy with contributing to the world all day long, all the time. And so you can do that at any age. You can be contributing at age 12 and you could be contributing at age 85, So, and I have another patient who's in his 80s as well. And he's a builder and he's this amazing builder and still working. So that's what you want to strive for. Not necessarily that people think of work as something that's not good, but work is what we contribute. That's how we contribute. So if we have something that gives us purpose and some way of contributing to society and to our lives and to other people's lives, that's what's good.
Mm-hmm. Well, this podcast it gives that to me. That's,
yes. Yeah.
I get to have conversations with incredible, minds like you, and we get to share health promoting information. It's like, what more would you want to? I mean, there's lots we could do with our time, but that's what I choose to do with mine.
Yeah.
So what lights you up?
What lights me up? Every day when somebody feels better because of something that I've done, that lights me up. And also painting and spending time with friends. So
that sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So do you have any closing remarks for us today on this episode on the Rachel Varga podcast?
Never give up on your life. Never give up on your health. If you have a health concern, or even if you just want to age gracefully and be happy as you age, don't give up on yourself. Find what is most important to you and go for it.
Lovely. Learn more about Dr. Shiroko Sokitch and her book, Healing When It Seems Impossible, 7 Keys to Defy the Odds at hearttoheartmedicalcenter.com. And follow her at Dr. Shiroko on IG and at Heart to Heart Medical Center on Facebook. It was a pleasure having you on the show today. And I look forward to a number of listeners, picking up your book and connecting with you because, being able to blend ancient with Western healing, not versus. That's funny how that came out of my mouth. It's like, they're not a versus. When we bring everything together, you're going to get an ideal outcome, right?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Well, thank you for being on the show today. And until next time, we will see you right here on the Rachel Varga podcast. tell your friends. And I'd love to hear from you guys. Send me a review or a question. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast. And I'm available at rachelvarga.ca. You can see all the ways that I can help you out, or send me an email, info@rachelvarga.ca. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.